Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Plough Lane. Welcome to the build-up to FA Cup first round action. AFC Wimbledon hosting Cheltenham Town in a repeat of a second round game from 2 seasons ago. I am Nick Draper. I'm joined by on my left even, not by my left, I might be, by Rob Boyce. On my right, Reece Fletcher. And we're going to get straight into team news, I think, gents, because a few changes for us this afternoon. Only a few. It's pretty much full strength. Hassan Billa comes in at right back, starting. Connor Lemonheigh-Evans replaces Josh Nerfel wide left. Alex Pearce steps in for Ryan Johnson at centre half. Johnson not on the bench today, so we await to hear news of him. Josh Nerfel neither on the bench. A bench of 9 as well today for the FA Cup. Same rules apply though. You can only use 5. Reece, start with you. What are your thoughts on? Let's start with Hassan Billa coming in, getting a start. I think it's his first start after injury.
Yes, I believe so. He's been out for a while, but I think the times where he's came on in the last couple of days, obviously replacing Oggs at right back, he's definitely came on and made an impact, I think. So I think it'll be good to see how he can do, starting and hopefully playing 90 minutes. That'll be good to get his fitness back, and then it's a healthy competition at right back for the next couple of games. Yeah, we've got a lot of competition across the team at the moment. Rob, as you said, Alex Pearce and Connor Lemonheigh-Evans, the other two coming in for Nerfel and Ryan Johnson. Were you anticipating a few more changes? Do you think we might mix it up a little bit more for the FA Cup?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit disappointed not to see James Paul actually in the starting lineup. I feel like he's bided his time, and I quite like the look of him. So I thought, with the amount of games we've had recently, I thought maybe he might come in. But obviously, Johnny Jackson's gone with 3 changes. I think obviously 2 of them must be enforced with no Nouvelle and no Johnson on the bench. But yeah, obviously he's switched up. I'm quite looking forward to seeing Connor Lemonheigh-Evans.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to watching him play today because I haven't really seen much of him. And I think, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, he looks like quite a bright spark on that left wing. So
scored a cracker against Walsall.
Yeah, his debut scored. Yeah, so like I said, looking forward to seeing a bit more of him.
Seems to be a little bit more with Lemonheigh-Evans. He seems to want to be a bit more someone who cuts inside more than whereas Nerfel seems to be wants to use his pace and get past. We'll see how that affects things. Cheltenham Town we'll come on to in a little bit. We're going to be joined by a media officer from Cheltenham in a little while. He's going to talk through their lineup, but it looks pretty strong, to be honest with you, and clearly they're looking to build on their recent improvement in form after what was a somewhat disastrous start to the season for them in League One. We'll later also be joined by Harry Pell. He's going to give us his thoughts on the season so far. But right now, we've got an exclusive for you ahead of the release of tomorrow's official podcast, the 100% official podcast, not the 104% official podcast. 8 minutes, I think, 8 minutes of an exclusive. The whole thing will be released tomorrow, but here's a video with giving you a preview of what to expect.
This is a very difficult show to do, Beza, because as you mentioned before with Ross Warner, I'm sat here with 4 people I know that are goalkeepers. Well, 3 goalkeepers and 1 that used to be. I'm joking. That's all love, mate. It's all love. But I'm saying with you guys, when in reality, you guys are looking across the table from each other, and you guys are competing for 1 shirt.
Yeah, it is weird like that. Obviously, for me, coming into the building, it was really tough. You don't know how everyone's going to react to you. You come in, and you just don't know how people are going to be. And to be fair to Tans, he's been great. And we literally, the 3 of us, we work so hard. And I think it just gets the best out of every single one of us. And I think if you have that in a GK squad, you're on to good things because every single one of us is pushing each other to be the best we can be. Whereas I've been at some places where it's a bit, no one gets on. I don't know. Where you don't get on. It's horrible.
Does it actually happen though, where goalkeepers just do not get on?
I've been in myself where it's been toxic.
Really?
Not as a coach, just like
Here?
No, not here. In the past in my career, I've had it where the group's toxic. If you're playing, he wants you to fail. Whereas I can put my arm out and say, not one of these guys. So if Bassie's playing, Tans and Colonel support. Colonel's playing, if Tans is playing, Bassie support. We all support each other, and that's part of my job to make sure that the dynamics of the group isn't toxic. Because if it is, it's not going to work.
You're like a UN peace negotiator part time.
You're not just a coach. You've got to be their coach, their father figure, their mentor. You've got to be that. They got to trust you as much as you've got to trust them. And then when you've got to have them awkward conversations, they've got to be comfortable with that.
Tans, how do you do? And this is the first time anyone has ever asked you this at this football club. I know, and this is the first time anyone's asked you on record. How do you deal with Alex Bass coming in, Ryan Sanford coming in?
I think wherever you're going to be, there's competition. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, the way I sort of handle myself, if I sort of throw my toys out the pram or if I sack a session off or anything like that, I'm doing an injustice to myself. And I'm looking at, I'm not going to get better that way. So now I'm sort of flipping it and looking, because I'm not playing at the minute, what else can I work on that I wouldn't be able to necessarily do or train if I was playing week in, week out. Sometimes you have 2 games a week and you can hardly get enough training in, you know. So now I'm doing all the stuff off the pitch that I think is improving myself for when I get the opportunity to come back in the team or whenever it is to be able to play a game. Because you never know, like with going away with New Zealand, I had to be prepared, because if I was like just sort of not bothering in training, then I wouldn't have been prepared for that game when I went away. So I think that's the way I have to look at it. But it is difficult for sure, because playing for 3 years in a row, you get into that rhythm of playing, and then you play one game and you get a little glimpse of it, and then you don't really have that for an extended period of time. So I think that's what I've learned, because it's going to happen for me, because I'm hoping to have a nice long career, you know, play till maybe 40.
You will?
Yeah. Maybe
I'm very much like you play as long as you can, because you're a long time player.
So for me to do that, I have to be in that mentality that wherever the position is, I have to perform. And also, it's at the end of the day, it's like it's your job as well, you know.
Basil, how involved are you in decision making when it comes to bringing in new goalkeepers? I mean, you've had to do it quite a lot over the years. When you think about all the goalkeepers we've had in the low knees, left, right, and centre. I mean, but when it comes to bringing in Bass, when it comes to bringing in Ryan, not so much, but when it comes to bringing in Bass directly to compete with Nick, I know obviously you've got to look at the benefit of the team on a whole, as well as Johnny, but you must sit there thinking about your individual department going, oh God, this is going to be tough.
It's tough because obviously the relationship I've got with Tans. I told him straight away. In fact, I told him in the summer that the gaffer's looking for a new goalkeeper. He wants a new goalkeeper, he wants it to look different. Just letting you know. No, that's basically it. And I said, I've got to do my job. I've got to do a job for the football club, what the manager wants. And I recruited Bassey. But he knew everything about what was going on. So yeah, it is a difficult, but at the end of the day, you've got to do your job. So I've done that with Tans, I've done that with Bassey, I've done that with Colonel. So yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you about. I trust him as much as he trusts me, and when I've got to have that difficult conversation with him, he's got to trust me. And I can't praise him enough about his attitude, his application since Bassey walked into the building.
But he pulls out performances like Coventry, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, but that performance, it didn't surprise me, because the way he works day in, day out, and that's not blowing smoke up his, you know what I mean? That's what I want. And he has his days where he's like, but then he knows his levels have got to stay there. So then I have conversations with him about, you know, if you're not on it, he's on it. And now he's come in the building, Colonel. It's like the dynamics are so good, so they push each other every day. And I demand it. I do demand it, but they get on with it. They push each other. They're on each other. We have debates. We have chats. It's a fantastic group to work with.
Bass, Nick, tell me about the Colonel. What's it like having a third body indoors?
Let them chat.
I want to
do like a chat.
The Colonel. To be honest, when he came in, I'll be honest, I didn't know what to expect from him. But like, I don't even know kind of.
I'm a goalkeeper, isn't it?
You're a baggy goalkeeper.
Yeah, baggy goalkeeper.
We have this banner that he's a baggy goalkeeper.
What does that mean?
So he's got baggy gear. He's like
gloves.
big baggy gloves, like
Short sleeves or long?
Oh, I'm wet top, everything, mate. I'm
Nice.
wet top.
Yeah, like he's
actually
long johns on.
yeah.
I was born in the wrong era.
If he was 40 years ago, he'd look.
He's
Yeah.
me.
He looked like Gabble Kirali.
Right, yeah, he looked like
don't
this
even know
spot.
who that is.
You know, because he used to have
We
the
just
great
sort of-
track-
You don't know Gabble Kirali is?
Played for Fulham.
He played for Fulham, yeah?
Yeah, I know you're on about now.
That is you.
Oh, no, I don't wear baggy tracksuits.
Baggy grey tracky bottoms. I could see you wearing them.
I could.
They weren't even branded. They were like a Primark job, weren't they?
I could get some, couldn't I?
Primark grey.
Shall I bring some in?
Wear something tomorrow.
Wear some tomorrow.
Come get some training.
Do you know? I'm just.
what you wear.
You're the Colonel, mate. You wear what you want. Yeah, I'm supposed to.
Colonel, mate. Mate, you tried today, mate. You wear what you want.
Nick, The Colonel coming in. Has he told you the story about the grenade, picking up a grenade as a child?
No, we just found out recently, but
You've made that sound worse than it was.
yeah,
A grenade
that
up as a
sounds a
child.
bit crazy.
Tell us about it.
No, we were just talking about the time I found a hand grenade in the park. I was just going through the woods. In fact, I was building a den with my pals and just having getting some sticks, gathering some supplies, that sort of stuff. And just at the ground, mate, is a grenade. No word of a lie. With the pin out, there's no pin. But obviously, I knew about all the war stuff and I'm quite into it. So I was like, lads, don't touch it. Just leave it. So I've gone to school the next day. We've not reported it to no one, and I'm talking, and the teachers have overheard me. And then they've gone can you draw a picture of it? So I've drawn the grenade, identical, mate, potato masher, innit? You know what it looks like. A bit of terminology for you. And then they've actually got the police in. The police have drove me down there and gone in there and they've gone, it's a hand grenade. So the bomb's got to come down and shut the road and everything,
See, you lot just think of that as an innocent story. I say, building a den, find a grenade, that's the Millwall starter back all over, straight away.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Plough Lane. So that was a little clip of the official podcast released tomorrow with the Goalkeepers Union here at AFC Wimbledon. And as you can see now, we're joined by Harry Pell. Harry, thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us again. First of all, you're not involved today, so just for the viewers at home, just let us know what's the situation with you.
Just against Accrington, after about 15 minutes, I felt my adductor just tighten and then a little sensation. So it's a little bit of a niggle that I had before. Spent this week strengthening. Managed to get out on grass yesterday, and then done quite a lot of running this morning before the game. So looking forward to next week and probably be integrated back in with the boys next week.
Perfect. Yeah, Doncaster is next week at home. Yeah, that's right. We've got Cheltenham today, obviously FA Cup. We've got a break from league action this week, but we're about a third of the way through the season in the league. So we'll talk briefly about how it's gone. We've started well. I know the last few games we've not picked up a result, but on the whole, we're sitting 10th in the league. Our away form has been fantastic. Last week, that was always going to happen. We were going to lose at some point away from home. Yeah. But we're at home today in the league, and that's the only thing we'd say probably at the start of the season, that the home form, again, not picking up as many wins as we'd have hoped. I remember I spoke to you last year, if you remember, sort of in the second half of the season, and it was about this time of year actually, we went from about now to January unbeaten and fantastic form, and you were telling us, you went out to the pitch and just felt we weren't going to lose. You just had that feeling. Is that again the same problem when you're coming out to Plough Lane at the minute? Is there a bit of a mentality thing with it, or is it just a luck thing like we saw against Crewe here?
It's so hard to put your finger on it. I think that's like you said though. I think that if you break that home form down into certain stages, apart from the Accrington game, I can't remember us being absolutely dominated by a team.
No, not at all. No.
Which is the frustrating thing. And listen, like I said, Accrington was a bit of a write-off. But if you like I said, you take it, you actually break it down. I think that our home performances and our performances in general have actually been okay. Has been good actually.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And I didn't actually travel at the weekend, but obviously we do the debriefs and stuff, and you can break it down as much as you want. But our expected goals was better than theirs. We performed better than theirs, and somehow we come away 4-1. But like you say, I think it's been a positive start of the season. Obviously, if you had the cup in that as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
As a whole, it's been very good. But like you say, I think that because we started so well, the last 3 weeks is probably a little bit disappointing, and rightly so, because we set that bar. But I'm hoping that the boys can put in a great performance today and get us through.
And Harry, playing Cheltenham today, obviously a former club of yourself, 136 games I believe it is. How was your time at Cheltenham, and can you tell us a little bit about their squad today and what we might expect from the game?
Yeah, unbelievable. It's given me probably some of the best days of my career. Got a promotion with Cheltenham. Had a really, really, really successful period there, and then got sold from the club. So I think it was really successful when I was there. I've got nothing but good things to say about everyone at the club, from the top to the bottom, the fans, the hierarchy at the club. Just hopefully we beat them today. Their squad's changed a little bit. They've changed managers a couple of times. There's still, I think there's one or two lads that are still there, but certainly some staff. Like I said, I hope that we beat them today, and I wish them all the best though after today.
Hope so. If we get to the third round, what would be your ideal draw? Because obviously all the Premier League clubs come in.
Yeah,
What would be your favourite one?
Yeah, as a Wimbledon player, I think I'm going to be greedy again and say, can we get Chelsea away? It'd be unbelievable. Obviously, being a Chelsea fan, but that experience itself, we were just speaking off air about. It was unbelievable. Really, really was good. And hopefully we earn the right today, and hopefully we get a big away tie again. And it's nothing but good stuff for the club.
Yeah, when you talk about that Chelsea game, you won us the penalty that night as well. Did you enjoy the little bit of banter with the Chelsea fans?
No, I hated it. Really don't
With
like
Poch
it.
as well?
No, I absolutely loved it. It was great, and I think that, like I said, I think that we, as a team, we could sense an upset, and we grew, and we were growing in the game, and we conceded 2 really sloppy goals. And on a different day, when you dissect the game, I'm scratching my head thinking, we've gone away at Chelsea, but how have we actually not come away with a little bit more, just being greedy? But yeah, it was a long night for the players. Let me tell you, we run ourselves into the ground, but we had loads of possession. But yeah, no, it was a great experience.
I think if you was a neutral there, I think we looked like a Premier League team in a way. We held our own and everything. I thought just like the way we lined up, it was just really good.
I think we got our tactics, our setup was absolutely phenomenal that night. We absolutely nailed the game plan. And like I said, we were so unlucky not to get something. And yeah, it'd have been unbelievable. But it was a great experience. And I thought the club that night looked really, really strong. The fans, the players, we left every Chelsea supporter with a memory of Wimbledon in the back of their minds.
Yeah, and I think you see when they scored the winning goal, the roar from the home fans told you how much pressure they were feeling about.
Yeah, and we had them on the ropes, and it was honestly, I can't tell you how gutted I am that to even in the future to be able to say that we maybe beat Chelsea or we took them all the way, but no, great experience, and the boys done really well.
Yeah, and as you say, that game was indicative of the performance levels you say that we've had this season, and even last week with the defeat, as you say, the stats were ridiculous. And
yeah, I think if we keep on going with them performances and we keep that standard, the results are going to turn. We're going to start winning games again, whether it's at Plough Lane or away from home. We just need to concentrate on ourselves and concentrate on that performances, and then the results will take care of themselves.
Cool, well, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. Enjoy the game today. And hopefully we'll see you back next week and certainly the week after as well.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Harry. Cheers. We're just going to have a quick look. We just mentioned that Morecambe game there. We're going to have a quick look at some highlights of that and the Accrington game from the past couple of weeks.
Strength, and Wimbledon have fallen asleep here as Andrews looks to latch in behind. They claim that was a pass back, with the last touch coming from Joe Lewis, and well, Sean Wally's not going to get away with the ball through Miller. Here's Lee clipping one across. It's going to come here for Pritchard. For Woods. Burgundy is going across. Kept alive by Martin. Oh, what a strike from Tommy Lee. It's a stunning Stanley start. Pell wide. Here comes the cross all the way through. And Lemony Evans behind for Alamadi, who hits the byline. Oh, it's found its way all the way through to Lemony Evans. It might just be kept in. It will be by Pritchard. Across for Wally, and just wide at the back post. Capable of scoring. Nice change of pace from Curry. And he fancies a run here. Lemony Evans. Great ball. And Pell Not even third time lucky. And he didn't land a glove on Accrington Stanley in the first half. Did Wimbledon. 45 minutes to try and turn this around here. But Accrington are on the front foot from the get-go. Here's the ball across. It's come all the way through. Longello's strike and thumped home. A matter of seconds at the start of the second. To win Wimbledon. And they've got some serious work to do here. But they might be able to grab one back. Yes, they can. James Tilley to deliver. Flicked on and flicked in. Game on now. Bugill's impacted the game all right. By Beeler. Pritchard's cross. Oh, that'll do it. Wimbledon sunk.
Well, we'll talk about it when we go on camera, but I was just having a look at it. Oh, we're live. There you go. So that was the 4-2 reverse at home to Accrington from a couple of weeks ago, about 10 days ago now. Welcome back to Plough Lane. So just as a reminder, I'm Nick Draper to my far right, Reece Fletcher, and we've now been joined by John Palmer from Gloucestershire Live, who's going to talk us through the Cheltenham lineup this afternoon. He gives us a bit of a lowdown on the team. Now, Cheltenham, of course, got Darryl Clark in as manager very recently after, oh my word, Wade Elliott was departed after, I mean, it's disastrous hyperbole for the start of the season, no goal in 11 games and the bottom of the league. But Darryl Clark's come in, seems to have steadied the ship and started scoring goals, won 2 of the last 3. So things are starting to pick up. Confidence is obviously a little bit higher around I would still call it Wedden Road. I keep getting it wrong, but is that right?
It's completely Suzuki Stadium officially, but everyone still calls it Wedden Road.
Wedden Road, yeah, there you go. But yeah, confidence a little bit up, and so perhaps coming into this game on more of an upbeat nature, I guess. A few changes though today?
Yeah, I think it was disastrous, by the way. I think that was a fair way to describe it. Yeah, 4 changes today.
Okay.
Definitely a bit more confidence. A couple of key players back from injury. Tom Pett, who's on the bench today, has just signed. He's an experienced campaigner, played for Darryl Clark at Port Vale. He's won a couple of promotions from League 2 with Lincoln and Port Vale, so quite excited to see him if he gets on today. But in terms of starting 11, it's pretty much full strength apart from Elliot Bonds, who's suffered an ankle injury last week against Port Vale. So other than that, it's pretty strong.
Okay, cool. I've noticed you've got a couple of lone strikers from Arsenal, West Brom. They're not involved so well. I see Malcolm's on the bench from West Brom. Have they been getting much game time? Or what's the situation with those two?
There are 7 loans in the squad, and one of the things that Darryl Clark has done is very much gone with the more experienced contracted players. So Josh Williams, who's there at right wing back today, he's on loan from Birmingham. But most of the loans have there's a couple of lads on loan who are just doing some fitness work out there at the moment. They're not in the squad. Cam Cupion from Brighton and Ollie Hammond from Forest. Malcolm and Butler Odeji from Arsenal as well. They've done all right in flashes, but they're quite a long way behind, I would say, Lloyd, Goodwin and Street in terms of the attacking options.
What are you expecting from today's game? Obviously, Wimbledon 2 losses in the last 2 games, and in the last 3 for you, it's 2 wins, I believe. A lot better form. What are you expecting from today's game?
Yeah, I still think Wimbledon fans will fancy a bit of a, if you can call it an upset. I wouldn't say Cheltenham are a bigger club, but obviously they're one level higher. But I think Wimbledon fans will feel quietly confident they can cause an upset just because of the starts of the season Cheltenham have had. But you're right, it's looking a bit better now. And I saw that Wimbledon had lost those 2 games, both against teams that have come down from League 1, haven't they? But still not in a bad position, within striking distance of the playoffs, aren't you, Wimbledon? So I think the last FA Cup game here was a bit of a thriller. I think it was 4-1, and then Cheltenham got a couple of... Yeah. It was a bit flattering in the end, 4-3, but Cheltenham made it interesting in the end. But Wimbledon were decent that day, and the league meeting that season was 2-2. That was a good game as well. So there should be goals at least.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got your revenge on us in the league that season as well, as we got relegated that year, and you beat us 3-1, I think, at Wedden Road, if I remember correctly. Just to talk about generally with Cheltenham, obviously the expectation, the aim now for this season is just to stay in the league, surely. Was that always the expectation just going into the league? Were you expecting to struggle at the start? Well, obviously not to the extent, but were you expecting to be a relegation battle going into the season? Yeah,
I think Cheltenham in League 1 is always a relegation battle, really. I mean, they did really well 2 seasons ago to finish 15th under Michael Duff. Last season was 16th, but for a lot of last season it did look a bit dodgy, and they actually finished quite strongly. Alfie May going to Cheltenham was obviously he was the record goal scorer in the EFL, so losing him was a massive blow. So Cheltenham have never stayed in League One for more than 3 years before.
Okay.
So if they stay up this year, they've made a little bit of history there.
Nice.
But they're never going to be able to compete. They've got the lowest budget in this league, much lower budget than Wimbledon. I think 17th highest budget in League Two if they were in it. So that shows what they're up against.
Really are punching above the weight really with that. Yeah.
How did you think the transfer window went for Cheltenham in the summer? Obviously, you lost like Alfie May. Do you think they replaced well? Or?
Aidan Keener came in January as sort of a preemptive replacement for Alfie May, and he did really well last season, got 6 goals, but he struggled a bit this season. In terms of the summer business, they signed a couple of players that were not fit, including Curtis Thompson, who's starting to get fit now. He did really well for Wickham, centre midfield. He's starting to look good, but it took him a while to get back up to fitness after a long injury. Curtis Davis has come in, he's starting today, he'll be dangerous from set pieces. He's not the quickest anymore, he's
quite
38,
experienced, I believe.
Massively experienced, but he's very good in the air, and he'll win everything in the air at the back, and he'll also be a threat from set pieces. He's great to have around in terms of experience. Scored in the FA Cup final for Hull against Arsenal in 2014, so you don't get many more experienced players than him at this level. But the business has been criticised mainly because of the loans. That's what people have been a bit disappointed with. The loans, having 7, obviously you can only have 5 in the squad, and not many of them playing. So that's an area they'll definitely be looking to improve in January. Send some of the loans back and get some better ones in.
I'm guessing the loans are probably reflective of the budget situation as well, and trying to keep costs down. In terms of this afternoon, then 2 questions. From what you're saying, sounds like maybe a 3-5-2, 3-4-3. Is that how you line up?
3-5-2, I'd say. Yeah.
Yep, cool. And what do you reckon for a scoreline today?
I can see it. I don't think anyone will really want it, but I can see it going to a replay. I can see it being a draw and then having a replay at Cheltenham. Cheltenham had to do it with Gillingham a couple of years ago before they got the Wimbledon game in the second round, and they had to do it the hard way, go to Gillingham for a replay. But I think that would be, I'll go 1-1, my prediction. I think Cheltenham obviously have started scoring now. Yes. So they'll be trying to keep on that little run, and I can see it going to a replay at Wharton Road.
100%, yeah, that's where my money is going as well. But John, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
We're going to scoop into some highlights now of that Morecambe defeat from last week. And John, we thank you for joining us, and
cheers.
Enjoy the game.
Thanks
and we'll probably see you at Wharton Road in 10 days' time.
Wouldn't put it past us. Yeah.
All right, cheers. Thank you very much.
You.
To winning 4 before this game, and manager Johnny Jackson says they are full of confidence despite that. A man who has plenty of confidence, Al Hamadi, across the face of goal. Well, the Dons starting to grow into this game. Tilly still going. Oh, what a brilliant block! That is a goal-saving block. On the line there. He tests the downfield for Morecambe to deal with. Helped on by JJ McKiernan. That's a lovely ball through. Mellon round the goalkeeper and in. Michael Mellon. Loxham working hard there. This is a good run. Still going. Now, is that a penalty? Referee unmoved. Oh, it's gone in. What on earth happened there? Morecambe celebrate. Seeing his long throw. More danger. McKiernan. Is he brought down? Be a penalty this time. Scored from the spot last week. And he does so again. And Morecambe now heading easy on this performance to see why. I want to keep a clean sheet, the home side as well. Up towards the box, Al Hamadi laying it off. Little. Oh, it's a great finish. Well, there's 20 minutes to go plus stoppage time. And maybe this isn't quite done yet. Amani Little with the strike. Space on the edge of the box. One touch and picked his spot. What a way back into this game. Needs to be better though than that. And there's always the risk at the other end. Slew. It's a great chance. It's fallen to Mellon. Game, set and match. It is a hat-trick for Michael Mellon.
I know, he took the mick out of me.
Right, everyone, welcome back. We've had another change to the lineup. We don't, not quite 9 subs, but a few subs from the team today for Don's Live. This is Plough Lane. I am Nick Draper, joined one by one to my right by Rob Boyce, Reece Fletcher, and Stuart Deacons. And Stu, you've joined us.
My new gloves.
Got new gloves from the club shop.
£15 from the club shop.
Very comfy.
They are. They're premium. They're premium ones as well. Touch screen.
Touch screen?
No, you can touch the screen with. No, no.
You can always. Can you not touch the screen without the gloves?
Well, it's the thing. It's like.
Won't go there.
This is the thing. It reminds me of the conversation. So we've done the official podcast with the Goalkeepers Union in a week, and the interesting thing was we were talking about goalkeepers. Like, what's the main point of a goalkeeper? Are they play with their feet, or are they supposed to stop the goal? What's the main point of gloves? Touch screen or keep ball?
Keep ball.
Stuart, I feel like the club shop have paid you to model these gloves.
I was going to say, this really is like
a walking advertising board.
Do you know back in the day, Stuart, Wimbledon FC, they used to put the little merchandise catalogues in the middle of the programme. They get the models. This is it. You are it. Oh,
I remember that.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Stu, what have you made of the... we were just talking to Harry Pell earlier, talking about the start of the season. Overall, a positive start of the season, despite a recent dip. But what have you made of the first third of the season as a whole?
Yeah. I think recruitment-wise, we've seen better recruitment, haven't we? So, I don't think we're utilising the squad as much as we want to or could do, although we're doing that today, aren't we? But hey, look, I think if we had asked the question before Accrington, would it have been okay? We've just had an absolute stinker of 2 games, haven't we? Yeah. And it just feels like, I don't know, it's like a switch that's been changed, isn't it? But we're still creating chances. We're conceding terrible goals. We weren't conceding. I think we thought like Joe Lewis and Ryan Johnson were immortal, didn't we, with their sort of centre half pairing? And they've just had average games. And also, let's be fair, Accrington, big ugly side. Morecambe, big ugly side.
Yeah. Experienced managers as well. Rob, Stu's talking there, about sort of the goals we conceded. We are still creating chances, not taking them as much, and Ali's still only got the goals in 2 games this season, so he must be getting really frustrated. Like, we thought maybe after the hat-trick against Tranmere that was going to set him off and go. Obviously we lost him at international duty again. Really want to get him more consistently in the goals, don't we?
Yeah, if he can find his form from last season, we'd be right up there. But I mean, look, I think Ali's a class player. His expected goals are still right up there. I just think just got to start putting few away, and he'll be off on his run. To be honest with you, so not really concerned on that side of things. To be honest with you, and it's not just up to Ali, isn't it? Everyone's got to chip in. Like I said, I'm quite excited to see from Connor Lemonhay Evans today. Got that right this time.
That name,
yeah. Well done.
Yeah, got that right. But yeah, like I said, I think he's capable of chipping in for some goals. Obviously, Tilly as well has probably gone off the boil a little bit in recent times, but he's just set such a high standard for himself at the start of the season.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was, though, wasn't it? I don't think he's playing poorly. No, he was just scoring every touch he had. He scored, didn't he? Oh, he's got 8 goals already.
And then recently, it feels like every touch he isn't going in the back of the net, whereas earlier it was. It just goes like that in the course of the season.
To be honest, I feel like everyone's still playing well. Like as we said, we are creating chances. I thought in the first half against Morecambe, we created chances. If we scored a couple there, it would have been a totally different game. But yeah, we are creating chances. We just got to maybe put them in the back of the net and cut out individual mistakes really towards their goals.
And then I was going to say there's a classic one again. I think it was Barrow, was it, when Reeves in the 90th minute? I think that was Barrow as well. So. Such fine margins, isn't it? But I think overall 10th in the league. We got Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, Carabao Cup. I said it's not been a bad start to the season, but I think we are hitting a bit of a tricky patch now with today's game, and we know what's upcoming in a few weeks' time.
I think the challenge is, right, and what I've seen is that we've always, if you look when we played at home, Jake Reeves would drop into I call a quarterback position, drop back in, pick the ball up and stuff. And what teams have done, they've just swamped the midfield. So we haven't been able to get a Mine Little and Jake Reeves. Accrington did it brilliantly, forced us to play long ball against a team of giants. What do you get? Not much.
I feel like they also cut off Ali Al-Hamidi as well. Like they put 2 big centre backs on him, and when he's up there on his own, it's kind of hard to get through a big defence.
So we've just got teams are always going to find out how we want to play. That's what happens, isn't it? We've now just got to be a bit smarter and try and find a different way to play.
Well, it's going to be interesting today because we were talking to John from Gloucestershire Live just now, talking about Cheltenham. They sounds like they're going to line up with wing backs in a 3-5-2, so 3 centre halves. Not sure we've really come up against that much this season, to be honest with you. There seems to be more teams seem to revert to a
teams
traditional
have forgot about
4-4-2.
3-5-2, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. So it'll be interesting to see. Because, like Stuart, you said on the lineup earlier, you're expecting us more. Like we think it's more of a 4-4-2, but you sort of lined up more as like a 4-2-3-1 with Omar dropping sort of in behind Ali. Do you think we might try and push him a bit further up, get Omar in the box more?
Well, I think if you've got 3 centre halves, we've only got one player, we've only got one forward who plays up there all the time, so we're not going to be marking.
Yeah.
So probably your question is who comes out to pick up Dougal, because Dougal doesn't want to play up against centre halves, does he? So no, I thought 3-5-2 was done. You always get this sort of formation that everyone plays, don't they?
Yeah. It's like, Darryl Clark. That is a Darryl Clark formation. I'm thinking going back to his Salisbury days and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
but it's an interesting one. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting for us. Hussein Byler and Jack Curry, we were just chatting. Let's be fair, Ogundiri's done absolutely nothing wrong. But it's nice you can bring Byler in, give Ogundiri a bit of a break. But both have fullbacks, are homegrown and highly rated. I think Byler. I think he was a bit rusty. He got caught out of Morecambe. I think Slew done him on one of the goals.
Yeah.
But if you look at Byler's so good going forward. So I'm looking forward to having both them two bombing on and yeah. Of course, it's going to be a 0-0 now. I've said that.
Well, you said that. We are expecting goals. Last question about sort of the team lineup, Reece, is like Rob was mentioning beforehand. Perhaps we thought there might be a few more changes, not just because it looks like the changes we have made have been enforced by injury at centre half and left wing. Maybe someone like Tilly that you mentioned, who's not saying he's out for, but a little drop off from where he was at the start of the season. Maybe he could have had a rest. Maybe, as Rob said, James Ball comes in. Were you expecting a little?
I'd never have guessed he was Italian.
I feel like
are you happy that we haven't? Are you happy we've gone as strong as you can?
I feel like I'm happy with the changes. I remember you said about James Ball. I think it would have been good to see him come on. I think every time he's played, he's gave that aerial threat in midfield as well. And I feel like today would have maybe been a perfect game for him to start. But I don't mind the changes. We have a lot. I think our squad depth is still quite good. We only have one injury left with Pell, I believe. If I'm correct.
I thought Lee Brown.
So I'm just laughing to myself. You lot are missing all the comments.
I've been keeping an eye on the comments. Our international fan base saying they would like to come and visit us one day because they love the stadium so much. Hopefully one day you will. There we go. Sorry, Reece, you were saying yes. Squad depth. Depth is good.
I think the squad depth is really good. We don't have as many injuries as we did last season come around this year, so it's good to see. I think the players that we have are quite good. The quality is good, so yeah, I think the lineup's good.
It's cool. I'm not sure if is it Chris Phillips on the PA today or is it Mike T? He's playing "Steal My Sunshine." It's a great song.
It's quite light as a tune.
I think it's apt for a day like today because it probably is going to start hammering it down a little bit.
Joe, it's interesting. We've got a new sound system in the physical lounge.
The lounge.
Yeah, the lounge. To a new sound system. So we were doing the SGM on Wednesday. So George Jones was putting his soundtrack on, and I must have heard "We Are Wimbledon" about 5 times.
George Jones was playing his soundtrack.
Yeah.
Is it just "We Are Wimbledon" on the lead?
Well, I asked him if he's got any cheese music, like any. So the slowest music he had was probably still about like 40 beats per minute or something. I don't know if that's a lot. But yeah, "We Are Wimbledon" 5 times. I'm going to get fed up with this song eventually. But yeah, it's decent music. Yeah. Do you know what's this thing about injuries, by the way, you were saying? It's all going to notice when Craig Cope come in, and apart from the recruitment, was also bringing in the medical team.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name. We hardly see him that much, do we? The guy that come in
from Portsmouth.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember we spoke to him at the start of the season, didn't we? And that was a big thing about why we were picking up so many
It's a
injuries.
good point by Reece. We haven't seen the injuries, have we, at all? You hardly see him.
Hopefully it carries on that way with no injuries.
I've just fully jinxed a whole lot of it. But it's a really good point by Reece in terms of your injuries. You can impact injuries you can't get away from, but silly injuries and stuff like that, you definitely can.
Yeah. So when we have a 0-0 draw and 5 injuries today, Stu, we know who to blame. Rob, your prediction then for this afternoon's game?
I think it's going to be a close one, but I think one of us are going to run out on 1-0 or 2-0 winners. I can't decide which way it's going to go. Okay. I think Stu made a good point off air. Both teams probably don't want to draw today, so they're both going to go for it. It doesn't benefit either team getting a draw today. So, yeah, I think it's going to go either way.
Cool. Reece?
I'm going to go with 2-1 to Wimbledon. I think it'll be tight. Let's go 2-1.
2-1.
I don't want to draw.
No one wants a draw. Stu?
I think it'll be a draw.
But I think it will be a draw. I don't want it, but I think it will be.
I think it will be. I think it'll be a low scoring. I think because when you conceded 8 goals in 2 games, you tend to go back to basics, you tend to be solid.
Yeah.
So I can see it probably being a 0-0 or 1-1.
Yeah.
Another thing about 0-0 and being a bit more solid is obviously Pearce comes in starting lineup, which means I think we sit a bit deeper and then obviously less space to get in behind.
Yeah.
So.
It's weird, isn't it? You like replays in the FA Cup, but on this occasion I'd just rather get the game done and result today. No one wants to draw, but that's probably what it will be.
Well, we'll see. Unfortunately, no one can watch it at home, can they? Because it's FA Cup. So broadcasting rules unfortunately means there's no live feed this afternoon, but you can of course follow updates on Twitter at AFC Wimbledon at 9YRS Podcast, and there should be commentary still on Radio WDOM.
So I was just listening to the fans. I wasn't really listening to you. I was just listening to the fans behind me.
It's fine. It's fine. We're talking about, but Rob's already said, so Radio WDON, you can listen to commentary on iFollow. Just go to afcwimbledon.co.uk. Other than that, I think that is it from us. We'll be back after the game with reaction to whatever happens today, but apparently, as we know, it's probably going to be a draw. And thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, gents, for chatting with me.